Okay, fellow babies, we have the Xbox reveal event coming up pretty soon. So we've decided we're going to take a few questions just on the next Xbox from Twitter, from @BigATex. Is it a good or bad thing that Microsoft has waited to debut the new Xbox 2 weeks before E3? Very funny, because I actually answered this guy directly on Twitter. So there you go, because I thought it was interesting. It's neither good nor bad. I think Microsoft and Sony, they've actually departed from prior practice by having an independent event different from E3. I think that Sony was very smart to do it in February. I think they've kept the buzz up. A lot of people talking about PS4. That talk has faded, now that we're in late April. The Xbox event is May 21st. That talk has faded. Now the talk is all about the next Xbox event. So there's buzz in front of it. They announce it really literally about a month ahead of time. They're going to get buzz for the 2 weeks heading into E3. The truth is, buzz is one thing, purchase intent is another. I don't think anybody's buying any of these boxes until they see them and they see the price. So what really is going to matter is E3. You're going to see the box, you're going to see the price, you're going to hear the launch date, and then from June 10th until launch date, which will probably be November, you have 5 months to make up your mind. So I don't actually think the timing of these pre-launch events means much at all, other than it gives the press more than one opportunity to write about these things with some knowledge. So I don't think timing it 2 weeks before E3 is a bad thing. I don't think it's a particularly good thing. I think it's just inconvenient for me because I have to fly up to Redmond, Washington, and I got to be back that same night to have dinner with John Riccitiello. Our next special Xbox question from Twitter comes from @SageMadPanda. Do you think the next Xbox will maintain its hardcore rep, or will it try to broaden its demographic? That's a wonderful question, and the truth is, I think that the last Xbox tried to broaden the demographic and didn't really succeed, but they did have some content exclusive like Dance Central that was pretty compelling. I think people really liked the game. So yes, I think they'll keep trying. I think it's really hard to appeal to everybody unless you make games for everybody. And Microsoft in the first cycle, the Xbox cycle, tried to do that with games like Grabbed by the Ghoulies, and nobody bought them. Viva Pinata, nobody bought them. So they tried by saying, well, we're focused on 18 to 30-year-old guys, let's focus on 6-year-old kids. That didn't work. I think the right way to do it is, first of all, bring in some women that aren't hardcore gamers, Dance Central worked. And second, bring in women that want to play games that guys want to play with them, Dance Central worked. And then work your way down the age demographic. I think one of the things that's really worked in Microsoft's favor is that Call of Duty, the entry level for Call of Duty, keeps getting younger and younger and younger. So the game is M-rated, which means 17 and over, and yet we all know this just from listening to the voices on in Xbox Live. 9-year-old kids are playing it. Either 9-year-old kids or lots of women with squeaky voices. But you can tell. I mean, there's a lot of little kids playing these games. So I think that parents abdicating their responsibility to supervise what their kids do has really played in Microsoft's favor, because you can buy an Xbox for your 9-year-old, because again, most parents have no clue what their kids are doing anyway. And so they've broadened the demographic without having to try too hard. Yes, I think the next generation will broaden the demographic further. I've said in the past and been criticized for it, Skype is a killer app. Skype's a killer app because it brings grandma into the mix, because we do have to say goodnight to grandma. And I think you're going to see Skype in the next Xbox, and I think it's a reason for the family to get one so we can all assemble in the living room, say goodnight to grandma. And so I think that's actually a really cool thing. From the Ask Pack forum, from Serial Killer 1, pretty funny, Serial with a C, I like that. I just read that ValueAct took a $2 billion stake in Microsoft. I was wondering, what influence do you think they could have on the Xbox division, and do you think their influence can be positive for consumers, gamers, or will it be detrimental for Xbox fans? Yeah, I'll give you an economics lesson. I'm gonna have to look this one up. Give me 1 second while I pull up my monitor. Microsoft has a $276 billion market cap. So Microsoft stock all of the shares combined, add them all up, $276 billion. So you have an investor that took a $2 billion stake. If you do the math on 276 billion, 1% is 2.7 billion. These guys own less than 1%. So the answer to your question is zero influence. They get 1% influence. They don't get a board seat. They don't have a seat at the table, period. They have nothing to say about it. Maybe they're going to be loud, maybe they're going to be whiny, maybe they're going to say change this or change that. The only influence they're going to have is, as a shareholder, they might influence other shareholders as they think the same way they think. And if they say, we have to fire Don Matrick or sell the Xbox division or spin it off or stop making M-rated games, maybe they'll succeed in convincing 49% of Microsoft shareholders to vote with them. If they get 50%, maybe there'll be change. I have never seen that happen at any company, so I would say the odds of this are zero. No influence, not happening, wouldn't worry about it at all. Separate topic though, there's other shareholders at Microsoft who think that Microsoft should get rid of its businesses that have nothing to do with office productivity or enterprise software. So that's Outlook and that's some email and Office, Microsoft Office, and the Windows operating system, of course. Xbox is one of those businesses, and it's actually a very profitable business. So I think that should that movement gain in any popularity, you might see Xbox spun off as a separate company. If that happened, I think that would be really interesting. It would give me one more stock to cover, and it would give gamers something to invest in, because you could then make a decision if you like the direction of Xbox or you hate it. I'd say that has a 10% chance, maybe 15 or 20% chance, less than 50, but there's a chance that something like that happens. So I think that's far more interesting. I don't think you should worry about a 1% shareholder exerting any influence on Microsoft's board at all. All right, fellow babies, thanks for joining us this week. If you would like to submit a question, you can do so at the link below. If you would like to submit a question through Twitter, I have a new producer. We've decided not to make my new producer a Twitter star, so we're going to try to make this a little more antiseptic. Please send the questions on Twitter to me, @MichaelPachter, and please make sure you copy @GameTrailers and use the hashtag AskPac. Now that's a whole lot of characters. I know that's going to cut your question in half. So try to be industrious in how you ask your questions on Twitter. It's okay with us if you actually use more than one tweet to send a longer question. We'll be fine with it. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week. All right, fellow babies, you can see more episodes of Pach-Attack on GameTrailers.com, or you can click on the videos to the right of me and see some of our other shows. Thanks for joining us. This is a profit deal.